Good morning, wives. Good morning. Happy Mother's Day weekend. Happy Self-Care Saturday. Listen, wanted to stop by real fast. In between my consultations and speak to not just my wives today, but I want to speak to the mamas. I want to speak to the mamas today. We going into this Mother's Day weekend, and listen, we got to talk for a minute. Coach T want to talk to the mamas on today. It's an urgency behind this message. It is an urgency. Anytime the Lord wakes me up and I can't go back to sleep and he has me journaling and writing things down, it's an urgency. All right. This is an urgency. So good morning, and happy Self-Care Saturday. Like I mentioned, I'm in between sessions. I wanted to pop in real fast and just share this quick word with you. And I'm going to get back to the consultations. Wanted to share a little information with you guys. Want to share probably about 4 little points with you, and then I'm going to get on out the way. And then we're going to go on from there. So welcome for the ones who may not know me. My name is Coach T. I am a, listen, some of my my ones that's been following, like, Coach T changed her name every other month, don't she? Listen, I do the same thing. It's probably a different name, but it's the same thing. All right, ain't nothing changed. My name is Coach T. I am a marriage relationship consultant and health coach wife. Okay, I coach wives in the area. Of separation, for the wives who are going through a marital separation. Most of the wives that I coach are going through adultery in the marriage that's taking place, addiction, or abandonment. And so I help those wives navigate through those different hardships. I also am a consultant. I'm also a consultant. And so for wives who just have questions and they saying, I'm struggling. I don't know if I want to stay with this man. I don't know if I want to leave this man. I don't know if this marriage thing is really for me. I don't really know if I should be, on board doing this. They struggling with this. They thinking that they hearing from God. They're not sure if it's God or if it's them, if it's their own thoughts. And so I help those wives as well. As well. So that's why I wanted to reframe my title so that wives would know that you may not necessarily want the coaching or need the coaching. You may just want to consult with someone who understands your situation. And so on that note, welcome. All right. There's an urgency that's taking place. And I want to share this with you. It's an urgency that's taking place, and too many people are missing it. There's an urgency that's taking place, and too many people are missing it. One of the things I absolutely hate, and I know hate is a strong word, but one of the things that I absolutely hate, and one of the reasons why I love what I do as a consultant, as a marriage consultant and a wife coach, is seeing people die, leaving earth without tapping into their full potential and taking advantage of the gifts God has given them. I mean, that if nothing else bothers me when I hear about somebody passing away, or when I hear about, this person, passed away, or something, especially sometimes when it's unexpected. And I know you're probably saying, Coach C, why are we talking about death on Mother's Day weekend? And it's just something that God weighed in on me this morning, and I just want to just share that. But when I hear about different ones, maybe, have passed, or, maybe passed too young, or passed, was living whatever type of lifestyle they was living. One of the things that I'm always irritated by is, did that person complete everything that God sent them here on earth to do? Did that person complete everything that God sent them here on earth to do? Good morning. That is always, good morning, arise and shine. That is always a concern of mine. I'm always wondering when I hear about somebody passing, whether it be a family member, whether it be, just anybody in the world. The question that always come to mind, the question that always stand out to me is, did that person do everything that God sent them here on earth to do? Did that person do everything that God sent them here on earth to do? Salvation is something that, I emphasize on this platform, especially with the wives who are, dealing with husbands who are, that's why God got you in this place. That husband is in the place of, of salvation. And so God has really, placed you in that position to stand in the gap for that person, really place you there in a position to stand in the gap for that person. And so I'm not saying that you, wife, have to build your life around that. I'm not saying that you have to build your life about, making sure that, you gotta make sure you get the salvation, you gotta get them the salvation. What I am saying to you is, you have to make sure that you're not just focusing on your marriage assignment. I cannot emphasize this enough. Like, it's just been on me. It's like, I'm trying to get it off, but it just keeps coming back. You cannot just keep sitting here focusing only on your marriage assignment only, and not ever getting around to the other earthly assignments that God has called you to. You can't do that. You cannot just keep sitting here focusing on just the marriage and not focusing in on other assignments. Because what's happening is people are dying and leaving this earth, and they are not completing the assignment, the purpose, the reason God sent them here in the first place. They have come here. They are distracted. They are, losing hope. They are wandering off. They're getting into other things. And not only does that affect you, the person that God has, chosen for a specific thing, not only does it affect the people that God has assigned you to. So now they are held up. They are, their life is going a certain type of way because you don't have your stuff together. So not only are those people being affected, but your children are being affected. Your children are being affected. And so I once heard, a man of God say, when the parents play, when the parents play, the children pay. When the parents play, the children pay. And when I say it's a urgency, it's a sense of urgency, because what I've been hearing a lot of is, oh, I got time. Oh, I got time. Oh, I got time. Oh, I can do that tomorrow. Oh, I'll do that next week. Oh, I'm gonna do that in a couple of months. Oh, I'm gonna wait till next year to get that together. Oh, I'm gonna start working on that in the fall time. Oh, I'm gonna start looking into that around Christmas time. Everybody think they got time until they don't got time. Everybody think that they can just keep on just repeating the same cycle over and over again as if they have that type of time. And they don't have that kind of time. This is an urgent matter. This is an urgent matter. Too many wives are plotting foolery. Too many wives are plotting foolery when that foolery is keeping you in a standstill. Too many wives are into other things that they don't got no business in. And God is like, you distracted. That's a snare. You are distracted. That's taking you off course. An idle mind is a waste of time. Good morning. An idle mind is a waste of time. And a person who has no control over their life, meaning a person who don't have no purpose, a person who don't have no goals, a person who don't have no agenda, a person who don't have no type of, aspirations, nothing to look forward to, a person who just doing life day by day. You ain't got no type of, schedule, no type of regimen, no type of, aspirations that you're working on, no type of goals that you're working towards. If you are walking around here doing that, girl, I got to go home because my story's coming on today, or, my show coming on tonight, or, I got to make sure that, I be at this place at this time because on this night they have this going on, or listen, yes, an idle mind is the devil's playground. And let me tell you something. You reap that foolery. You reap that foolery. So many times people think, oh, well, God, God is with me. God's grace is with me. Let me listen, because I don't be liking to be like this, y'all. Okay? I don't be liking to be like this. God is with me. God grace is sufficient, and God is with me. God is with me. God is with you. God does give you new mercy every single day. God does extend his grace to you. But if you're not learning the lesson in the middle of that grace, if you're still getting your hands dirty, if you still like playing in the sandbox, if you still like to go and do things your way after he has given you grace, after he has extended that mercy to you, how many more times you think you have to keep doing the same things over and over and over and over and over and over again without true repentance? The Bible even talks about how, good morning, God turns people over to a reprobate mind. So many people are weighing in on God's grace. God's grace. God's grace. God is grace. I got God. Okay. God is extending you grace, not for you to keep sinning. Not for you to keep being in foolery. Not for you to keep on doing the same things that you've been doing. God is extending you grace as a means of his love and saying, come on, let me get you over here to this other side. Come on. Let's get you building. Come on. Let's get these goals in order. Come on. Let's start working on this assignment. Come on. Let's start doing these things. Come on. I got stuff for you to do. Come on. People waiting for you. Come on. Your children watching you. Come on. I got to get you over here on this side. If that, how they call it, your pet peeve, if that ain't a pet peeve of mine, and something that I just, boy, something that makes me the maddest, when I hear about people leaving this earth who God has given a specific time. God has given, because people don't think that, timing is important. And that's why I'm always talking about time, about wasting time. Because when you on God's time, you got stuff to do. When you have purpose, when you have assignments, when you have goals, when you have things that you got to do, you don't have time to be wasting. But people sitting around here doing the same things day after day, week after week. Okay, on Mondays I do this. On Tuesday my show come on. On Wednesday I go to this restaurant and eat with my friends. On Thursday, y'all doing the same thing. And nobody is doing or going after the things that God has called them to. And so now life is passing by. Your children are growing older. And you still sitting in the same place. Good morning. You're still sitting in the same place week after week, day after day, month after month, year after year. You still in that same place doing that same thing, and nothing has changed. Now, not only are the people that you are assigned to or that's assigned to you are affected and their life's falling apart, now Your children are affected, and now their lives are falling apart. Because when the parents play, the children pay. You are planning your own demise if you are not in preparation to the things that God is assigning you to. You are planning your own downfall if you are not going after the things of God. Good morning. You're planning your own downfall. And so many times, and I'm hearing it and I'm seeing it. It's like, wife, do you want your marriage to be restored? Because if you want your marriage to be restored, then there are certain things that you have to do. There's a certain order to this. If you want God to intervene in your marriage, then you got to follow protocol. Too many people don't want to follow the protocol. You have to do this thing God's way, or it don't happen. God ain't just calling you here to take notes on your husband. God ain't just calling you here to just be watching your husband and okay, he's doing this today, he's doing that today. That's not what God calling you to do that. It will come a time in a season that he may call you to those things. But don't think for a moment, wife, that you are here only for that reason. God has allowed a separation, good morning, to take place so he can get the attention of you. You, the wife. If you the one standing, if you are the one who has made a decision to, stand, if you are the most mature one in the Lord, then God has said, I'm calling a timeout. I'm calling a timeout. We need a timeout. And because you are caught up in, well, my husband doing this and my husband over there and my husband got this going on and my husband, people are perishing. People are dying. Children are losing out. Nothing is getting accomplished. Goals are being wasted. Time is passing by. And then people die, leave this earth, and you have not accomplished what God sent you here for. And I'm mad about that. I'm mad about that. We got to do something different about that. Here we are, another Mother's Day around the sun. Praise Jesus. Another Mother's Day around the sun. And God has called us to the field of work. God has called us to the field to do our parts. God has called us to the field to stand up, to go up a notch this year. It ain't just, oh, happy Mother's Day. No, what are you doing, Mom? What are you doing, Mother? What are you doing? What are you showing your children? Are you showing your children something different? Are you doing something Listen. One of the things that the Lord convicted me of in my marriage early on, I will never forget. I mean, because my mouth was all kinds of nasty. Okay, I will split you in two with my words. I would do that. I was horrible. I would tear my husband down so bad, and I would do it in front of my sons. And I remember, oh God, I remember the day the Lord had to call me out on that. And he said, you talking to your husband in that manner in front of his son. What do you think your son would think of you? What do you think your son would think of you? You're talking to him and you're disrespecting your husband in that manner. What do you think your son would think of you? So many wives are caught up in what they want and what they thought their expectations was supposed to be, and what they wanted their marriage to look like. They're so caught up in that, they are missing this separation as a opportunity. Good morning. As an opportunity to pivot and do something different. They're missing the assignment because they're caught up in, but my husband is over here, and my husband is with this woman, and my husband is doing this, and my husband is doing that. And God's like, I know what your husband is doing. You don't have to tell me. I already know. I'm the one called a time out. I'm the one allowed this to happen. I'm the one allowed him to go through with this because I'm going to use this later for the good. But you so caught up in his world, and you so caught up in him, and oh, my husband and my husband and my husband. You so caught up in that, you missing out what I'm trying to do with you now. We got to get focused. We got to get focused. This ain't about your marriage, wife. This God didn't call this time out because of your husband and his cheating ways, or your husband and his addiction, or your husband who has abandoned the household. God allowed this time out to happen because He's trying to get your attention. You the mature one. You the one know Him. You the one in relationship with Him, supposedly, allegedly. You the one supposed to know His word. You the one going to church. You the one praying. So if you doing these things, if you in relationship with Him and you know these things, why you tripping about your husband? Your husband doing what he know to do. He not in Christ. He don't know the Lord like that. He's not walking accordingly. But you supposed to be. Too many people are losing out. Too many lives are perishing. Too much time is passing by, and people sit in the same spot year after year after year after year after year. They calling on God. They calling for their grace. They calling for their mercy. They asking for God to intervene. God comes. He intervenes. He helps. And then what happens? They turn right back around and get right back in that same spot, or get right back in entangled all over again. Now we're going to keep on. So we're going to just keep on doing this. We're going to just keep on doing this, and ain't going to be no consequences. Ain't going to be nothing that's going to take place after this. God going to just let you just keep on just doing the same thing. People using God's grace and His mercy as an opportunity to sin. That's not what that's for. That's not what that's for. It's consequences to that. Oh, but God's grace is sufficient, and God's grace is this, and it is. But His grace is not there for you to keep sinning, and for you to keep doing wrong, and for you to keep on getting in your husband's mess, and for you to keep on, going the other way. His grace is there for you to pivot. His grace is there for you to change. His grace is there for you to turn. People are waiting on you. When the children of in Egypt, Moses over there tripping, talking about he couldn't talk. He needs somebody to go with him, and God like, listen, I got people waiting on you, sir. People they're waiting on you to get your stuff together so they can get from out of their bondage. Wife, you have a ton load of people waiting on you, and you caught up in your husband's stuff. Y'all gotta stop this. I'm mad about that. I'm mad about that. We don't have time for that. We don't have time for that. I'm seeing too many people saying, I got time. I'm gonna just do it again next year. I got time. I'm gonna work on, when I get my taxes next year, I'm gonna do this. When I get this job over here next week, I'm gonna start doing this. When I come on. We gotta get away from that. You do not have time. Other people's lives are on the line here. People that you are assigned to are losing hope. They giving up. They perishing. They dying. And they going straight to hell because you won't get your life in alignment with God. That's the bottom line. You're handing over the freedom. Some wives looking at this marriage separation as a negative. And that's why I always say it's perspective. You have to have perspective in everything. This marriage separation is not necessarily a negative. This marriage separation can sometimes be the very thing that you need to get your life in order. But so many times wives are giving their freedom over to a fool. They're giving their freedom over to foolery. They're giving their freedom over to the very thing that God is trying to set you free from. God is like, I know you married a clown. I know you married a nut. I know you dealing with his foolery. Let him keep on being a fool and let me work on you. So by the time I work on you, you will be able to either handle that fool or I'm going to remove that fool out your way. One of the two. But in the meantime, let me work on you. Let me mold you. Let me shape you. Let me get you right. Let me get you in, or let me get you back in the right place. And too many wives are they walking backwards, thinking they got time. Me and my husband, my husband called me today. Me and my husband, we had sex today. Me and my husband, we was hanging out. My husband was being nice to me that he came over. He seen the children. He got me a Mother's Day gift. My husband said he gonna come back home. My husband was being nice to me today. All right. Okay. Because I ain't knocking none of that. I ain't knocking none of that. But what you doing while all that's taking place? What are you doing in the middle of your separation? What are you doing in the middle of the separation? While you are going through a marital separation with your husband, what are you doing in the meantime? Are you sitting around letting days go by? Are you sitting around in the same spot? Are you sitting around doing the same thing year after year, day after day, month after month, not making no type of impact, not doing no type of changes? You sticking to your regular routine that you do. You ain't changing up your regimen. You don't have no type of goals. You don't have no type of purpose for yourself. You're not interested in healing. You're not interested in getting better. What are you doing? What are you doing? What are you doing with your life? You just sitting there waiting for as soon as God bring my husband back, then I'm gonna be better. As soon as God bring him back home, then I'm gonna change. As soon as God get my husband right and he stop cheating and he stop messing with that woman and he stop sleeping around with people, as soon as I see God get him right, then that's when I'm gonna do better. And guess what? You will die in that same spot. You will die being that same person. You will die and you will perish and be gone from here. And everything that God has for you or had for you lined up, it goes to waste. it goes to waste. There's an urgency behind this, right? It ain't just about my husband and my marriage. Look at why. Look at the why. I always tell wives, if you and your husband are going through a marital separation, you need to find out why. You need to not only find out why y'all going through the marriage separation, but you need to also find out why God has called you to stay in this marriage. Why has God called you to not divorce that husband? You need to find out your why. You need to find out your why. This is the season and this is the time to get in alignment with the plans of God. Your marriage is a sealed deal if God has called you to this and God has told you, I'm going to take care of that. I'm going to deal with that. I'm going to bring your husband back home. I just told y'all early in the week, Coach T, how that's one of the things that God has mentioned to me over and over and over and over and over again. This ain't about your husband. This ain't about your marriage. This is what I've called you to. And so many wives are missing out on their calling because they're unwilling to do what they have to do to get to that next place on this journey. That's it. That's all I had. I did want to refer y'all to Proverbs 29. Proverbs 31, the Proverbs woman, because I want to refer you to the Proverbs woman in 31 because this lady, she had stuff to do. This lady had a plan. This lady wasn't just sitting around wasting time. This lady was on it. Proverbs 31 verses 10 to 31. Who can find a virtuous wife? For her worth is far above rubies. The heart of her husband safely trusts her. When I talk to ladies about, being your own boss and being I just talked to a wife last night who shared with me about the person, they have young kids. The husband got into some type of accident, some type of accident where it caused some type of brain dysfunction with him. So now he has reverted to like a child. He's reverted back to a child's way. And so now she don't just have 2 kids, she have 3 kids now because she has to take care of that husband. That husband is no longer in position to take care of his family. So what if that's the case with that young lady and she was dependent on her husband's income, or she was dependent on her husband to bring his portion of the money to the table? What happened if something like that happens and he's not able to do that anymore? Now what does she do? What does she do? So it's not just about when I talk to wives about, let's bounce back in your finances, be your own boss, have your own money. What if something like that happened when you are in a position where you have to take care of your spouse? What if he out there in the streets and doing all kinds of foolery and acting all kinds of ways, and then he had to come back home and you have to take care of him for the rest of his life? Are you in position to do that, wife? Are you in a position to do that? Or are you still waiting? Well, he giving his money over there to her, and he giving his money to this, and he giving his money to that. Are you in a position to take care of your husband if he gets sick or ill and he can't take care of himself no more? Okay? So it says the heart of her husband safely trusts her, so he will have no lack of gain. She does him good and not evil all the days of her life. She seeks wool and flax and willingly works with her hands. She is like the merchant ships. She brings her food from afar. She also rises while it is yet night. Wife, you supposed to be on your post. You're supposed to be in your post. If you are in position, if you are in alignment with what God is telling you to do, you don't have to worry about your husband because God have you on post and you already praying for him. He got you up certain times of the morning praying for him. You already doing, you are covering him in that way because you don't have no control over what he's doing. You don't have no control of what he got going on, but you have to get in alignment with God. So this lady, she's up early in the morning. She's up in the before the daylight even comes. I can relate to that. I can relate to God waking me up at 3 and 4 o'clock in the morning before everybody even get up. That's when God have our most intimate talks. Because that's when he has my undivided attention. He has me all to himself. He can say whatever it is that he needs to say to me. Okay? So this lady, she rises up when it's yet night and provides food for her household and a portion of her maid servants. She considers a field and buys it. From her profit, she plants a vineyard. She girds herself with strength and she strengthens her arms. Listen, this lady was in physical tip-top shape. This lady was physically taking care of herself because she recognized and knew the things that she was responsible for. She had to be physically intact to do these things. Too many wives around here just not taking care of their bodies. They're not going to their doctors appointments. They're not doing their regular routine checkups. They ain't trying to do any of that. Everything is just out. Me and God gonna do it. God got me. God got it. God got it. Huh? That ain't gonna work. This lady was in shape. She had to get herself together. She perceives that her merchants is good and her lamp does not go out by night. She stretches out her hands to the distaff, and her hand holds the spindle. She extends her hand to the poor. Yes, she reaches out her hands to the needy. She is not afraid of snow for her household, for all her household is clothed with scarlet. That means that lady had bank. She won't worry about if something went wrong. She had her own coins. She had money already put to the side. She had a plan. She had things in order. She had a regimen. She knew the order of her house and how it was going to run. She had things together. She was in routine. Okay. Her clothing is fine linen and purple. Her husband is known in the gates when he sits among the elders of the land. She makes linen garment and sells them. She was her own boss. She was her own boss. And supplies sachets for the merchants. Strength and honor are her clothing. Listen, strength and honor. I mean, that lady, her mental state was well. She was intact with her mental. All right. You don't just wake up one day and say, okay, I'm going, just be this way or whatever. No, it takes some time to get to that place. That lady, she knew how things had to work in order for her household to run. She knew what she was responsible for. She knew what God had called her to. She knew how other people were dependent on her. Come on now. She had a routine. She opens up her mouth with wisdom, and on her tongue is the law of kindness. She watches over the ways of over her household and does not eat the bread of idleness. That means she ain't sitting around and be gossiping. She ain't sitting around just wasting time. She ain't sitting around like not doing nothing with herself. Wives need to always have something to do. You need to always have something to do. A to-do list, a goal list, something that you're working towards, some type of assignment you're working on. You need to have something that you should be doing. Okay? So she didn't sit around eating the bread of idleness. Her children rise up and call her blessed. She was a role model to her children. Her children seen her like, oh, I want to be like mommy when I grow up. That's what you want your child to say about you. I want to be like mommy when I grow up. I seen mommy do this and I see mommy handle this. I see how mama handled this situation. I see how mama talked to that person. I see how mama did those things. I see how you want to be an example for your children. Your children should be an example for you. You want to be examples for them. Okay? Her husband also, and he praised her. Many daughters have done well. This is one of my favorite. This is the favorite part of this whole chapter. Many daughters have done well, but you excelled them all. Charm is deceitful and beauty is passing, but a woman who fears the Lord, she will be praised. This lady was spiritually connected. This lady was spiritually connected because she feared the Lord. So she was mentally intact. She was physically intact. She was emotionally intact. And she was financially intact. And she was spiritually intact. This lady was well-rounded and connected, in alignment, and doing what she was supposed to be doing. Okay? Give her, but a woman who fears the Lord shall be praised. Give her of the fruit of her hands, and her own works praise her in the gates. Wife, we are in a place of urgency. And if you don't get on board, and if you don't get on your job, and if you don't start doing your work, and if you don't start prioritizing yourself, and if you don't start doing your assignments, you will let this life pass you by, and the people that you leave behind will suffer. You will let this life pass you by, and the people that God assigned you to will never get to experience the things that God has called you to help them. This is not about my marriage, wife. This is not about my husband, wife. You got to get out of that. You got to get out of that. This is a time out. God has called you to a place of rest in your marriage. When a separation has taken place, he's called you to a place of rest. When it's time for you to start praying, when it's time for you to start warfaring, when it's time for you to start checking on your husband, when it's time for you to start praying for your husband, God will let you know those things. But in the meantime, you need to heal and see what it is that he's calling you to do right now. You need to heal and see what it is that he's calling you to do right now. And so I wanted to share that. I wanted to come on and share that with you. Let me go back to my notes. I wanted to go on and share that with you. Like I mentioned earlier, this is the last day. This is the last day for the business consultations. I just had 2 of them this morning. I have 2 more after here. And so I'm still encouraging wives. If you're not, even if you're not ready to start doing your entrepreneur type of work, or you're not ready to, run your own business, get the help that you need for yourself, wife. Start doing the necessary help that you need for yourself. We're coming into the summer months. I work with a lot of wives that are, either working in the school system, or school teachers. And I just want to encourage you, if you are in that place where you have the summertime off, or you in a place where you have the summer months to yourself, and you have not started to do your work, you have not started to do your healing, this is the time to do that. Like, take some time off during the summer and really make sure that you're prioritizing yourself. Take some time off in the summer and say, you know what, I'm going to sketch out some time and actually make sure that I'm prioritizing myself, because it's not just about you, wife. You are assigned to many people, not to just your children, but you are assigned to many people. But your children are watching you too. Your children are looking for you to be there for them too. I called my son and said, hey, I want y'all to come. I want everybody to come over here and stay the night. come stay, come over here. I want to be with my kids for this Mother's Day weekend, as any mother would. Any mother would want to be around their kids. And the other reason, because I want them to be late for church. But I invite my kids to come and stay with me, and I want to get some food and cook and coach and ask questions and be available. Come on, wives, we got work to do. We have so much other stuff that we need to do. It's a sense of urgency that's taking place. We are losing our children. People are dying. People are leaving here without fulfilling the assignments that God has called them to. And a lot of times people say, well, I don't know where to start. Start somewhere. If you are going through a marital separation, get with someone who can help you. If you are going through a breakdown, a mental breakdown in your marriage, get with someone who can help you. If you are dealing with different type of emotional grief, emotional hardship, get with someone who can help you. If you can't get help from your local church, get with somebody who can help you, who can connect you to the place, but start somewhere. Don't let another Mother's Day come around here and you still doing the same thing. You still looking out for the same thing. You still going to the same places, and you ain't get nothing done. You ain't get nothing done. You don't want to do that this time. So I want to encourage you for this Mother's Day weekend. Good morning. For this Mother's Day weekend, I want to encourage you, if you have not signed up for your Her Bonus to Boost consultation, I want to encourage you to sign up today. I want to encourage you to start doing that. I want you to start preparing in the summer months to start doing your work. Don't let another month, another year come by and you haven't did your work. So I want to encourage you, sign up. You can sign up at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. Now, for the ones who are saying, I'm ready to be a boss. I want to be like the Proverbs 31 woman. I'm trying to make my own money. What if, wife? And I'm not speaking that over you, but I'm saying, what if God is calling you to be that person to help your husband? What if God is calling you to be that person to have to, take care of the household? What if God is calling you to that assignment? Are you in place? Are you in position to do that? And so I want to encourage you. There's still time for you to get on board. There's still time for you to get on board for the free business consultation. because it's Mother's Day weekend, I am extending the free consultations until Monday. I am extending the free consultations until Monday. That's Monday, May 15th, right? Monday to May 15th. So if you have not had a chance to sign up, you can still sign up until Monday, May 15th. All right. I think that's the date. Yeah, you can start to Monday, May 15th. So you can start this as well. This cohort would start the beginning months of June. Okay, it would start the beginning months of June. It looks like so far we're looking at the dates. Most of the wives that I have talked to, we're looking at the months of the days on Saturday. So it would start on a Saturday. So that's June 3rd that it would start. Take this little 30-day little simple little course and start learning how to make some money and start learning how to, get out here and be your own boss. You don't know why God has you in this position, wife. You don't know why God has allowed the separation to happen. You don't know why God is allowing your husband to cut up and act a fool and do all these type of things. You may be the one who has to wipe his tail. You may have to be the one that has to take care of him for the rest of his life. You may have to be the one who has to make sure that your household is running. You may have to be the one to make sure that those kids get to the next place. Your kids are watching your example. Your kids are watching you. You may be the one, wife, that God is calling and preparing for. Don't let what he got going on, don't let what's going on in this world distract you from the things that God is calling you to. This is the hour. This is the season. We are in a sense of urgency. This is an urgent matter. It is time for you to be about your Father's business. It's time for you to get in alignment. Sign up today, wife, at www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. Listen, y'all go and have the most, in the words of Tabitha Brown, the most amazing Saturday. I hope y'all enjoy y'all Mother's Day weekend. I hope you do something nice. I hope that you are prioritizing yourselves. I hope you are filled with love and joy and peace. I hope that you get all the things that you want. But I also hope that you make sure that you sketch out some time for you, wife, and do something that you actually enjoy doing. Like I say, for me, Coach T, I've invited my children over to come and spend the night. I told them to all come over. We're going to have a whole little sleep out here. Well, they're going to sleep downstairs because nobody can sleep in there with me. So they're going to sleep downstairs, but I'm going to get some food. We got plans for, for tomorrow at the church. And so I'm looking forward to doing those types of things. And I want you to look forward to doing those things too. So make sure if you are in that season of healing, if you're in that season of starting your own business, sign up today. www.marriagechroniclesbytanika.com. All right. I'll see y'all on the other side. Blessings.